Welcome to Discover Journey's descent into the world's most disturbing culinary horrors. From fresh monkey brains that blur the line between predator and primate, to living Korean manhood fish that make censors blush, we're exploring dishes that challenge not just your stomach, but your very soul. Think you're brave? Wait until you see what's lurking in these exotic bowls and plates. Some of these dishes don't just shock you, they stare back. Join us as we uncover 5 forbidden delicacies that make Gordon Ramsay's nightmares look like a picnic. Number 1. Monkey brains. When dinner becomes a primal nightmare. Welcome to the darkest chapter of Asian cuisine, where we're about to witness humanity's most controversial culinary creation. Beyond the ornate brass dome that sits before me lies a dish so shocking it turns seasoned food critics into trembling novices. As I lift the heavy dome, steam rises ominously, carrying with it an unspeakable truth. What lies beneath is still at body temperature. This isn't just any dish. This is fresh monkey brain, served in a manner so primitive and raw that it makes modern civilization feel like a thin veneer over our primal past. The presentation is an exercise in psychological warfare. The creamy, pale matter lies disturbingly fresh, its texture hauntingly soft and tender. Ironically, as I sit here preparing to consume this primate delicacy, I can't help but feel like I've become the very zombie from Plants vs. Zombies, except instead of craving brains from humans, I'm about to devour the cognitive center of our distant cousins. The game suddenly feels less like entertainment and more like a disturbing prophecy. The experience goes beyond mere taste. It's a full psychological odyssey. The undeniable similarity to human anatomy creates a deep, disturbing connection that's impossible to shake. Each spoonful brings not just flavors, but existential questions about humanity's place in the natural order. While most people visit zoos to admire these primates' intelligence, here we're confronting a much darker reality of human culinary practices. Horror rating. Beyond the conventional 10 out of 10 scale, this dish transcends normal parameters of culinary fear. It's not just about the physical act of eating, it's about the psychological scars that remain long after the meal is over. The knowledge that you're consuming primate brain matter, combined with the warm, fresh presentation, creates a level of horror that makes watching Planet of the Apes feel like a lighthearted comedy. So here I sit like a real-life zombie in an upscale restaurant, staring into the abyss of exotic cuisine, wondering if somewhere Jane Goodall is sensing a disturbance in the force. Remember, folks, in the world of extreme dining, some dishes don't just push boundaries, they shatter them completely, along with your peace of mind. Number 2, tang, where your best friend becomes the main course. In the misty alleys of Korean markets, where steam rises like lost souls from bubbling black pots, lies a dish that turns pet lovers' nightmares into reality. Tang, dog meat soup, simmers before me, its dark broth holding secrets that would make Sarah McLachlan weep. The rich brown broth swirls like a forbidden whirlpool, carrying chunks of meat that, just days ago, might have wagged their tail at a friendly face. Steam rises in eerie patterns, almost forming the shapes of playful puppies dancing their final dance. The green onions float like funeral wreaths on this liquid requiem. As I lift my spoon, each ripple in the soup seems to whisper tales of betrayal. The meat, tender from hours of slow cooking, falls apart like shattered trust. Somewhere in the distance, I swear I hear the mournful howl of distant dogs, as if they're singing a solemn dirge for their fallen brethren. The aromatics, garlic, ginger, and perilla leaves, try desperately to mask the truth of what lies beneath, like flowers at a funeral attempting to hide death's embrace. The broth, rich with collagen, glistens with an almost accusatory shine under the harsh restaurant lights. Local believers claim this soup brings strength and vitality during the dog days of summer. But as I sit here watching the steam rise like departing spirits, I can't help but feel each spoonful carries the weight of 1,000 wagging tails that will never wag again. Horror rating. a soul-crushing 10 out of 10. The physical horror is minimal, but the psychological trauma? That's eternal. Each bowl serves not just soup, but a heaping portion of guilt, garnished with the ghosts of belly rubs past. As darkness falls and the soup grows cold, I'm haunted by visions of empty leashes, abandoned tennis balls, and dog beds that will remain forever unoccupied. In the world of extreme cuisine, some dishes don't just challenge your palate, they challenge your humanity, one heartbreaking spoonful at a time. Somewhere in the distance, a poodle sheds a single tear into its kibble. Number 3. Durian, the fruit that makes Americans run for their lives. Oh my God, what's that unholy smell? Walking through Southeast Asian markets, you're hit with what can only be described as a biological weapon disguised as fruit. Durian, the infamous king of fruits, emits an odor so powerful it's banned from hotels, public transport, and probably several Geneva conventions. The smell is like a symphony of nightmares. Rotting onions marinated in gym socks, garnished with gasoline. It's as if a dumpster had a baby with a natural gas leak. Locals crowd around this spiky menace while tourists run for their respiratory lives. My American nose is screaming, "Abort mission!" But wait, something strange happens when you get past the psychological warfare of that smell. With trembling hands and a close-pinned nose, I take my first bite of the creamy, pale yellow flesh. Holy sweet mother of desserts! What is this sorcery? The flavor is an explosion of sweet custard, vanilla ice cream, and almond cream all wrapped in a buttery caramel embrace. The texture is like the smoothest pudding you've ever had, silky, creamy, and rich enough to make French pastry chefs jealous. Each bite is a revelation that makes me question everything I knew about food. It's like Mother Nature pulled the ultimate prank, wrapping heaven's dessert in hell's aroma. While Americans are running away gagging, they're missing out on what might be the most luxurious, decadent fruit ever created. This isn't just fruit, it's nature's creme brulee having an identity crisis. The locals were right all along, and we Americans, with our prejudiced noses, have been hilariously, tragically wrong. Sure, it smells like a gas leak in a gym locker, but it tastes like angels baking cookies in paradise. Who knew that holding your nose could be the gateway to culinary enlightenment? Devil. Number 4. Penis fish. When your seafood looks NSFW. Welcome to the most awkwardly shaped delicacy from East Asia, the penis fish, or as scientists politely call it, the spoonworm. Imagine walking through a seafood market and suddenly finding yourself in what looks like a very adult version of a marine biology exhibit. These fleshy, phallic creatures, typically 4 to 8 inches long, are served both dead and disturbingly alive. When alive, they writhe and squirm in a way that makes everyone in the vicinity suddenly very uncomfortable. It's like watching a bowl of living, breathing anatomical references doing the worm dance. Raw, they're translucent, and, well, let's just say Instagram probably has some strict policies about posting them. Cooked, they turn a shade of pink that makes the situation even more awkward. The Koreans call them gaibul, while in China they're known as hai chang, though most Western visitors just point at them with wide eyes and nervous laughter. The texture? Oh boy, they're chewy, slightly rubbery, and have a springiness that I really don't want to describe in detail. Each bite requires you to mentally separate yourself from what you're seeing. It's like a psychological test where your brain keeps screaming, "Don't think about it." Horror rating, 8 out of 10. Not because they're particularly scary, but because trying to explain what you're eating to your friends back home requires a level of creative vocabulary that would make a poet blush. Fun fact, while most seafood makes you think of the ocean, this one makes you question why evolution has such a twisted sense of humor. Somewhere in the depths of the sea, Mother Nature is giggling at her own dirty joke. Remember, folks, sometimes the most challenging part of extreme cuisine isn't the taste. It's maintaining a straight face while eating it. Devil? While most people save for a house, here we are, slurping up birdhouses in fancy restaurants. It's probably the only time you can say, "I'll have the house special," and literally mean it. Survive this culinary nightmare? You're officially part of our dark food family. From monkey brains to bird spit luxury, we've journeyed through humanity's most shocking culinary boundaries. But this is just the beginning of our twisted food adventure. Our Discover Journey channel has hundreds more terrifying dishes waiting to be explored. Want more food horrors? Check out our Extreme Street Food series, where we eat beating cobra hearts, or dive into our Asia's Darkest Cuisine playlist featuring dishes that would make Andrew Zimmern faint. Hit subscribe to join our fearless food family, and don't forget to like if you survived without calling your therapist. Ring that bell to never miss our weekly dose of culinary nightmares. Drop a comment below telling us which dish haunted you the most. Was it the living penis fish or the primate brain feast? Remember, while some run from fear, we eat it. See you in our next food nightmare, devil